She thought he was a homeless beggar sitting outside the most expensive hotel in downtown Chicago. So, without a second thought, she handed him her shoes and ordered him to shine them. He quietly accepted. But minutes later, when she walked into the hotel lobby and saw the same man standing beside the executives, everyone suddenly went silent. He wasn't a beggar. He was the millionaire owner of the entire hotel. Before we begin, subscribe to Kindness Library, like this video, and leave a comment telling us what you would have done in her place. It was a cold Monday morning in Chicago. The streets were crowded with people rushing to work, holding coffee cups and staring at their phones. Outside the Grand Madison Hotel, a man named Daniel Carter sat quietly on a wooden bench. He wore an old gray coat. His shoes were dusty, and his hair was slightly messy. Beside him was a small black bag that looked almost empty. Most people walked past him without noticing. Daniel didn't seem bothered. He was watching people. For the past 3 weeks, Daniel had been visiting his own businesses dressed like an ordinary man. He wanted to understand how employees treated people who looked poor. The Grand Madison was his newest hotel. He had spent years building it from nothing, and now it was worth more than $80 million. But Daniel believed money could hide the truth about people. That morning, a young woman named Emily rushed toward the entrance. Emily worked for a financial company across the street. She was dressed in an expensive black coat and carried a designer handbag. She was late for an important meeting. As she approached the entrance, she noticed Daniel sitting near the door. She looked at his clothes and frowned. Then she noticed her shoes. A splash of dirty water had covered them. Emily sighed. She looked at Daniel and said, "You shine these." Daniel looked up. "Excuse me? My shoes. They're dirty." She placed one shoe in front of him. "I'll pay you $10. I don't have time." Daniel stared at the shoe for a moment. He could have told her who he was. He could have walked inside and ended the situation immediately. Instead, he smiled. "All right." He took a small cloth from his bag and carefully cleaned her shoe. Emily watched impatiently. "You know," she said, "you should be grateful when people give you work." Daniel looked up. "Everyone deserves respect, whether they have money or not." Emily rolled her eyes. "That's easy to say when you have nothing." Daniel didn't argue. He simply finished cleaning her shoes. When he handed them back, Emily reached into her purse and gave him a $20 bill. "Keep the change." Daniel looked at the money. "Thank you." Emily turned toward the hotel entrance. Then she heard a voice behind her. "Mr. Carter, we're ready for you." Emily stopped. She slowly turned around. A hotel manager was standing beside Daniel. The manager looked nervous. "Sir, the board members are waiting upstairs. The investors arrived 10 minutes ago." Emily's face changed. She looked at Daniel. "Mr. Carter?" The manager nodded. "Yes. Daniel Carter. The owner." Emily's mouth opened, but no words came out. Daniel stood up and adjusted his old coat. The man she had treated like a beggar was the millionaire who owned the hotel where she had just insulted him. But Daniel didn't embarrass her. He simply said, "Don't worry. I understand why you thought I was poor." Emily looked down. "I'm sorry." Daniel nodded. "I accept your apology. But I hope you remember something." Emily looked at him. People often judge others by what they can see. But character isn't written on someone's clothes. Then Daniel noticed an elderly man sitting outside the hotel entrance. The man was shivering. Without hesitation, Daniel took off his expensive coat, which he had hidden beneath the old one, and gave it to him. Emily watched silently. Daniel then turned to her. "You don't need to prove you're kind by giving someone money. Sometimes kindness begins with something much smaller. Emily looked at the elderly man wearing Daniel's coat. For the first time that morning, she understood. A week later, Emily returned to the hotel. She wasn't carrying designer shoes or an expensive handbag. She brought warm coats, food, and blankets for people living on the streets. Daniel saw her from across the lobby. She smiled. "I learned my lesson." Daniel smiled back. "Good. Now pass it on." And she did. Because sometimes the person you think is beneath you is the person who has the most to teach you. Daniel had millions of dollars, but his greatest wealth wasn't in his bank account. It was in the kindness he chose to show when nobody expected it. So the next time you see someone who looks poor, tired, or forgotten, don't be so quick to judge. You never know what story they're carrying. And you never know how one small act of kindness might change their day, their life, or even your own. Kindness doesn't require money. It requires seeing people as human beings. And sometimes, the simplest act of respect is worth more than millions.